He was the man in the shadows.
For nearly 2 decades, the Golden State Killer, also known as the original Night Stalker and East Area Rapist, terrorized California residents.
Law enforcement now identifying 72-year-old Joseph James DeAngelo as the Golden State Killer.
A neighbor
Say DeAngelo was an average suburban homeowner, except for his temper.
He would yell so loud that you could hear him yelling from inside the house.
A lot of times he'd be cursing at us, telling us...
A cop.
East Area Rapist suspect Joseph DeAngelo worked as a patrol officer with Auburn PD from 1976 to 1979.
And he turned whole neighborhoods into nightmares. He raped. He murdered. He laughed while you cried.
I'm sorry, I can't see through my tears.
My dad lay at the front door, bleeding to death. And ended up dying on the way to the hospital.
For over 4 decades, he was a ghost, until a single strand of DNA brought his reign of terror crashing down.
Investigators say they tracked him down using DNA and genealogy website.
Discarded DNA to help track him down, genealogy websites, and a long process of elimination through family trees.
This is the twisted, jaw-dropping story of the Golden State Killer. The origin: Visalia ransacker, 1973 to 1975. Joseph James DeAngelo wasn't always the Golden State Killer. Back in the early 70s, he was just another local police officer in Exeter, California. Friendly, polite, kept to himself. But beneath that badge was a man spiraling out of control. In Visalia, from 1973 to 1975, strange break-ins began happening. Trinkets vanished. Women's underwear taken. Photographs turned upside down. Over 120 homes were hit. Cops called him the Visalia ransacker. On September 11, 1975, the ransacker broke into the home of journalism professor Claude Snelling. He was trying to abduct Snelling's 16-year-old daughter, Beth. Claude tried to stop him and got shot dead in his own driveway. That was the first murder, the beginning of a sick legacy.
My dad lay at the front door, bleeding to death. And ended up dying on the way to the hospital.
The East Area Rapist, Fear in the Suburbs, 1976 to 1979. New town, new job, same monster. Joseph DeAngelo got hired by the Auburn Police Department, just outside Sacramento. But right as he settled in, a new predator emerged, the East Area Rapist. From 1976 to 1979, over 50 women were sexually assaulted across the Sacramento suburbs. The MO was chilling. He'd stalk victims ahead of time, peek in windows, sneak through backyards. He always struck at night, ski mask on, gloves tight, carrying rope and a weapon. He'd break into homes while couples were sleeping. He'd tie the man up, stack dishes on his back, and whisper, "If I hear these rattle, she dies." Then he'd rape the woman in another room, sometimes for hours. He'd eat from their fridge. He'd hang around. He wanted control. He wanted fear.
And I wake up to this guy standing in my room, and the first thing I see is he's standing there and he's holding a flashlight like this, and he's got a revolver in him. Something was said to the effect, "Don't move or I'll kill you." Then he tells me to roll over and get face down. He had some shoelaces in his pocket, and he instructed her to tie my hands. So then what he does is he tells my girlfriend to get up and go in the kitchen and to get some cups and saucers. I think there were 2 sets of cups and saucers put on the small of my back. He takes her off into the living room. Probably 10 minutes goes by, and he comes back in my room again. He puts the gun up to my head, and I believe he pulled the fucking hammer back, and I can hear the nice tightness of the fucking cylinder. So now he's been back, he's made 2 trips into my room. And whatever else he's doing in the other part of the house, he's raping her. I hear some whimpering. I'm fucking 21 years old. That's my fucking girlfriend out there. This whole thing has been going on for 25 or 30 minutes, okay? I got a couple of friends. So they come over to my house and call him my name. And he's in the living room with her. What happened was they drove him off. He doesn't say anything. I don't know what he's doing. He flees This is why I'm telling you that he was only there for 30 minutes. He got interrupted. My friends leave. So things are really quiet for like maybe 5 minutes. I don't hear nothing. So then I call out, is he gone? And she says, I think so. So I'm up and I'm out of those bindings.
I'll never forget the sound of him breathing through clenched teeth. I could smell his sweat. He never looked at me, just used me.
They believe he's still alive, he's still out there. May I ask you if there's any fear in coming on camera and talking about it so vocally?
Absolutely not. 6:30 in the morning. The garage door just closed. My 3-year-old son had just gotten into bed with me. And the next thing I knew, I heard someone running down the hall. And I thought maybe it was my husband. A flashlight. This man then standing over top of me, a light shining in my eyes with a large butcher knife. He had a ski mask on, black leather jacket. He blindfolded my son and myself. He blindfolded us, he gagged us, and he tied us up. He put my son, what did he do with him? What's he going to do with us? Because prior to the rape, he had this very strange behavior of tearing sheets, tearing towels. And I thought, is he going to hang us? What's he going to do with us? And again, it was, where was my son?
Suburbs turned to war zones. People slept with bats and shotguns. Gun shops were cleared out. Sacramento was in a chokehold of terror. 1979 to 1986. Then he vanished. The rape stopped. But down in Southern California, murders began. They called him the original Night Stalker, a name later associated with Richard Ramirez. People started whispering, could this be the same guy? Brian and Katie Majori, 1978. Walking their dog, they spotted a prowler. He chased them, shot Brian, then Katie. Execution style. Robert Offerman and Deborah Manning, December 1979. Found tied up and killed in their Goleta condo. Lyman and Charlene Smith, March 1980. Bludgeoned with a fireplace log in Ventura. Charlene was raped. Keith and Patrice Harrington, August 1980. Dana Point. Both beaten to death in their home. No forced entry. Patrice was sexually assaulted. Sherry Domingo and Gregory Sanchez, July 1981. Sanchez tried to fight. He was killed. Sherry was raped and murdered. Janelle Cruz, May 1986. Just 18. Attacked in her family home in Irvine.
The news that your daughter has just been murdered. I want to go home and help my daughter, but she's not alive. That's the first thing a mother thinks. Oh, I want to go home real quick and help her, but you can't. I cried all the way home. I cried on the airplane. Little son was running through the aisles. My husband finally held him. She was happy, finally.
Do you know what she wanted to do?
She didn't talk to me yet. We got robbed of all those things. He did it in a child's voice that was some kid just fooling around. And he would say, I'm going to kill you, in a low but almost childish voice on the phone.
California Frozen, The Aftermath, 1986 to 2013. And then, silence. Just like that, the trail went cold. California exhaled, but the fear never really left. What no one knew was that Joseph DeAngelo had retired into normalcy. Married, had 3 daughters, worked in a grocery warehouse, drove a motorcycle, lived in a modest home. No one suspected a thing, but survivors never stopped hurting. Women like Chris Pedretti and Jane Carson Sandler refused to stay silent. They kept pushing for justice. And somewhere deep inside the system, the clock was ticking. 2013 to 2018. Enter Michelle McNamara, a true crime writer with a passion for justice. She dubbed him the Golden State Killer and reignited the public's obsession with the case in her gripping book, I'll Be Gone in the Dark. She died before he was caught, but she lit the spark that changed everything.
I mean, she was always following multiple cases. You know, she was always investigating cold cases. She had all kinds of Google alerts and was a member of so many different, crime message boards. But there were multiple things going on at once. Before she named him the Golden State Killer, he had this very complicated, she named him the Golden State Killer. Before then, one of the cops told her one of the reasons he is the worst uncaught serial killer in California history, worse than the Zodiac. When he was up in Sacramento, he was called the East Area Rapist. And that's when he started murdering people. And he became ONS, the original Night Stalker, which was a misquote in a magazine article. Then it was combined into Ear-On. So he didn't have a punchy, Night Stalker, Zodiac. She came up with Golden State Killer killer, and a couple of the homicide cops, I remember, were saying, oh, thank God you came up with that name. Because that makes it, that lands harder. That makes people remember it a little, you know.
In 2017, Detective Paul Holes uploaded the killer's DNA to GeneMatch, a public genealogy site where people submit their DNA to trace family roots. The sample came from crime scenes, old semen evidence from the 70s and 80s. From there, they looked for familial matches, third and fourth cousins, then started reverse engineering the family tree using centimorgan data. Centimorgans show how closely two people are related. It's like a genetic roadmap. Thousands of names, dozens of possible branches. But one name kept showing up, Joseph James DeAngelo. He matched the age. He lived in every single crime location at the right times. He had police training. He was divorced. And he had a temper. Cops tailed him. In April 2018, they saw him toss a tissue into a public trash can. They grabbed it, rushed it to the lab. That DNA matched multiple Golden State Killer crime scenes. Dead on.
The latest on the Golden State Killer who terrorized California for decades. Investigators say they tracked him down using DNA in a genealogy website. ABC's
today, 72-year-old Joseph DeAngelo will make his first court appearance. They used discarded DNA to help track him down, genealogy websites, and a long process of elimination through family trees.
Law enforcement sources telling used a genealogy website to help connect Joseph DeAngelo's DNA, taking that evidence and then comparing it with family members within the online database. They found their suspect. Police say the 72-year-old appeared surprised when they swarmed his home Tuesday evening.
They surrounded his Citrus Heights home. DeAngelo answered the door. Calm, blank. He said, I have a roast in the oven. Then he was cuffed and taken away. Paul Holes later said, we were staring at the face of a man we chased for decades. It didn't even feel real.
No incident. He didn't say it wasn't me like that.
No, really no conversation at all. Just the only thing he really said was that he had a roast in the oven.
His sister telling she can never imagine her brother carrying out the 12 murders, some 50 rapes, and dozens of burglaries he's accused of.
It's kind of such a shock. You don't know how to react. All these emotions are just too much.
That DNA match blew the lid off cold case investigations. Since then, genetic genealogy has helped solve over 50 long-dead cases across the country. Killer by killer, science is closing the door. DeAngelo faced 13 murder charges and over 50 rape accusations. In June 2020, he pled guilty to avoid the death penalty.
Mr. DeAngelo would like to make a brief statement.
I've listened to all your statements, each one of them. And I'm truly sorry to everyone I've hurt. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
He sat in court in a wheelchair, frail and quiet, playing the weak old man. Victims weren't fooled. Impact statements asterisk.
Be a man. For once in your life, be a man. Look at her.
My life was changed forever.
But it gives me a small sense of peace, knowing that there's a special corner of hell that he will spend in eternity.
Did his little penis drive him to be so angry all the time? Did he study criminology so he could carry out his evil deeds as a bad cop?
How pathetic to use your training as a peace officer to take advantage of good people and commit such crimes. Many people have wondered, why would one do such shameful deeds?
My God, we were just high school kids living a normal life, going to school, church group, having friends over, but we were lucky he didn't kill us.
Asterisk Jane Carson Sandler. You are a repulsive coward. On August 21, 2020, he was sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences. Just bars and silence. DeAngelo's capture wasn't just justice. It was a turning point, a blueprint for how tech can solve crimes that once felt hopeless. The Golden State Killer left behind pain, fear, and tragedy, but also resilience. Survivors became advocates. Strangers became allies. And in the end, a strand of DNA proved louder than any scream. Joseph DeAngelo thought he could outrun time. That age would save him. That silence meant safety. But all it took was one mistake. And one team that refused to quit. This was the story of the Golden State Killer. A man who ran. A world that watched. And a science that never forgot.